Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Paul Ricard. I will be your host.
That's not politically correct.
Oh, I didn't know we were getting political. I will be your host, Cranshaw P, and with me, as always, is Captain Kangaroo Pimp.
Oh, I get to be the pimp. Awesome.
Well, Cranshaw P also a pimp. If you haven't seen Black Dynamite,
I'm aware. I'm just saying. We both get to be pimps. That's
correct.
It's a good call. Good call. There's a lot of other ways. Oh, there's.
But I get the hot ass coat hangers.
That's true. That's true. Welcome to the Paul Ricard circuit in France for the second round of the monthly Enduro series here in 2020. This is an evil track that I really don't like, and it's really just in the middle of a parking lot with a bunch of blue lines everywhere to define where the track is, as you can see.
Sounds like a good day at Walmart.
Could be. We got the really long-ass Mistral Straight here. We've got GT3s and GT4s on track. I did, and in fact, both I and Martin both forgot to do this, so that's always great. We both forgot to turn on the multi-class interface, so all the classes are kind of shown together, but what you need to learn, I guess, is basically the top 15 will be GT3s, and the bottom 15 will be GT4s. And that's
unless, of course, you're really bad at your job.
Well, once we start losing some GT3s, that pattern's going to be completely broken, but I do know who is the leading GT4 car at all times, so I should be able to direct us.
Is it you?
It's not me, no.
Well.
On pole position, it's Mike Stockmill. Surprise, surprise. And then there's a whole horde of BMW M6s. Fran Machuca, Ariel Zattoni, Travis Walsh, Richard DeRoche, and Christoph Verstreppen. The top Porsche of Max Simons. The Lincoln Park Mercedes of Clive Britton. The lone Corvette of Paul Ricard in there as well. And then in the GT4 category, your leading car is Texfuo Duran, who used to be Texfo Performance. He's at least given himself a last name that makes some sense. So that's a step in the right direction.
Do we call him Duran?
I'm down with that option. I was thinking about like maybe a pun on Ruben Duran, who was that bantamweight that Rob Carroll was really, really high on, and he never really turned into anything, unfortunately. And I do mean the unfortunate part, because he was a very exciting fighter, and had he turned into something, I think it would have been fun. But that did not happen.
What about Roberto Duran, the actual successful
Roberto
boxer?
Duran. Indeed. Well, I was talking MMA.
Nobody watches that anymore. Everybody's into cricket.
We're known for a certain brand here, sir.
Everybody watches cricket now.
Well, we do have a number of Europeans and Brits, so you could be right. All right, we are on the grid here for our 90-minute race. We have mandatory pit stops in play, and we have red lights, and we are go here at Paul Ricard. As the cars fan out heading into this first sector is really exciting. It's basically full throttle through an S. It's the only good part of the track, frankly. So this will be fun. Here's Travis Wallace trying to get third place from Ariel Zattoni, pair of passionate, rambunctious drivers. Fran Machuca has maintained second place with Mike Stockmill in the lead in the Mercedes. I was a little surprised that there were such successful BMWs here today. I did not think so. We have no Audis, which is a little disappointing. So, hey, GT3 guys, bring some Audis.
And some Toyotas.
And off the start, John Barker has gotten past Mr. Duran for first place in the GT4 category. You can see him down there in 16th position at the moment.
Which moment?
Well, this very moment.
No, every moment.
Indeed. We head down the Mistral Straight. Fran Machuca thinks he has a run on Mike Stockmill. Mike Stockmill, of course, carrying the ballast in this particular race. So the best chance to make an overtake on him is probably that Mistral Straight, where he's going to be a little bit lacking in pace. Looks like Richard DeRoche going a little bit wide. Richard had a pretty poor start. He's down to 10th place after qualifying, I believe, in the top 6. I did promise the guys that we would work in some Lincoln Park stuff for Clive Britton there to remind him of how much we love that chrome car. So we'll try
I think
to
I'd rather kill myself.
Think you'd rather kill yourself?
Is that a good enough one?
It's a solid one, but it's really more of a Chester Bennington reference.
Yeah, well, I mean, most of their songs are about killing themselves.
Until the rest of Linkin Park starts killing themselves.
That's fair.
Which has not happened yet, but we will see. Clive Britton in 5th place there, duking it out with Ariel Zatoni. Or not? No, that's not Ariel. Pardon me. That's Christopher Streppel. Sorry, they both have kind of white and blue cars, which threw me off there for a second.
Is Travis racing for the Outback Steakhouse? Is that what's going on there?
No. Actually, I picked his car because he told me to pick a car, and I just said the 55 BMW, and here he is. It's a Japanese car of some description. Don't know what the company's on it. He is running in a solid 4th place at the moment. And you can see the GT4 is climbing through in the background there. Having a pretty good fight as well. Top 5 in the GT4 currently. Barker, Duran, Loeffler, Magas, and Butler. Very strong outing from the BMW so far. And
I'm still waiting for you to explain why the BMW is a Japanese car.
No. The sponsors.
Oh, I see.
That is a Super GT car from a Japanese GT series. There are no Mike Stockmill retaining the lead there against Fran Machuca. Fran might not be done, though. Fran in the Turner Motorsports car. And Mike Stockmill is, in fact, going to lose the lead. Byron, please note the time and date for the log.
Put him in the wall!
So BMW leading both classes now and having a very solid day in both categories with the M6 in the GT3s and the M4 in the GT4s. It's Stockmill not likely to fight back in this section. The high-speed sections are where that ballast may limit him a little bit. So we'll see what he can do. May have to worry about Ariel Zatoni right behind him there in the laser BMW driving experience car. Currently running in 3rd place. So Mike Stockmill in a BMW sandwich. He is the meat between the BMW bread.
That sounds sexual.
I mean, if you breed it as sexual, that's your call. We do have a mandatory pit stop, which we should see at the about 45-minute-ish mark of the race. Travis Wallace going for it towards the Mistral straight against Ariel Zatoni, but nothing there. Battle continues there for 4th position, and behind them it is Christopher Streppin and then the other Mercedes of Clive Britton. Just taking a look down the list here to see if there's anyone I want to give a shout out to as Mike Stockmill goes back for the lead. Can he get it?
No.
He's got the good position to do it, so I think he's going to get it. Zatoni, in the meantime, is fighting off for Streppin once again.
I think if you're going to give Mike Stockmill ballast, he should also be allowed to have a ballista.
Oh. Giant ballista mounted on top of the car.
Hell yeah.
That was actually my favorite unit back in the old Age of Empire day. It was the ballista and the helibus.
Back in the Age of Empires?
The Age of Empire. The late 90s. the big boom of RTS gaming. Travis Wallace has lost a spot to Verstappen, but still runs in 5th there. He's got Clive Britton behind him. And of course, there's a lot of opportunity for drafting on this track because of the long straightaways. Zach Hemstrom picking up a spot there, or Mauricio Delgado's connection just went kind of insane. So that's a little disappointing. Travis Wallace with an overtake there of Verstappen, which may have had less to do with him overtaking Verstappen and more to do with the fact that Verstappen decided to take a detour there that didn't involve the track.
Who does he think he is, Max Simmons?
Speaking of Max Simmons, he's 2 cars behind him. Ah!
I noticed he immediately went for the illegal lap off the start and then went right off the track.
Max, the illegal lap Simmons. Still the top portion of the race, despite his allergies when it comes to finding the track. Fran Machuk is keeping with Stockmill nicely, but the two of them are getting ahead. Mind you, hour and 23 minutes to go. Too early days to really make any predictions here. Stockmill slides back into second place. They're having lost the lead in the draft. Zatoni, Britton, Verstappen, Martin Edmonds, Travis Wallace has dropped back to 11th place. I didn't see what happened there. This car usually draws the attention with a nice red paint job as opposed to a lot of the white paint jobs the BMWs are sporting. Max Simmons holding off Richard Derouche in the background there. And we have a drive-through penalty for track limit abuse for John Picha, who's back in 28th position in the GT4s. And speaking of the GT4s, this is the battle for the lead between Zifo? I'm going to go with Zifo. That just seems like a fun name. Zifo Duran and John Barker. Michael Magas fighting with James Butler. That's a classic battle if I've ever seen one. BMW versus Porsche. Again, I must say I am surprised that the older Porsches are the favors. Oh, speaking of Porsches, that is probably Toby Howard, who's had a angry discussion with the wall at some point. And, Martin Edmonds losing control and spins the car.
He is very drunk.
Well, I mean, we're like, what, 9 minutes into the race? His tires are probably already gone, sir.
That is very true.
That's how it works.
All of the vodka in the Camelback probably didn't help.
That's true. I really do need to try the vodka in the Camelback at some point.
So make yourself a big old, one giant screwdriver.
We're going for the world's record for the largest screwdriver here.
I did that the last month. Chris and I went to the alcohol shop, and they got this stuff called White Lightning, which is just like insanely high proof. Well, not insanely high proof. It's like 50% alcohol, and I happen to have frozen orange juice. And so I would literally just dumped it full, like put the frozen orange juice in one of the big giant Frosty mugs and dumped the alcohol on top of that and stirred it around, and it wasn't too bad. Needed
I can see that being pretty good.
A little bit of water to kind of dilute things just a little bit, but it weren't too bad.
That's good. John Barker, in the meantime, going for the lead here against Zifo Duran. They are heading into... Oh, well, we cut away from it, unfortunately. Back to the front. Back to Mike Stockmill. Mike Stockmill has gone with the teammate to the Hello Kitty car. No Hello Kitty car today. Very disappointed.
I'm fine with it.
Sean Kenny absent in action. He is the Hello Kitty driver. Not here today. Clyde Britton seems to not really be able to get away from Christoph Verstappen in any way, but it feels like Christoph might be more accident-prone despite the pace advantage that he has, which has kind of become his hallmark trading card, unfortunately. In fact, Clyde Britton going for it there. Paul Ricard in the background, as well as Jesus Coladas. I think that's what it is.
Who's got the colitis?
The colitis. Jesus has got the colitis.
Dang it, Jesus, you need to get that looked into.
Mike Stockmill looking to get back in the lead. Verstappen still fighting in the background with Clyde Britton. Ariel Zatoni just saying, I'm having a boring day. I'm just in third place. Just ignore me. And this battle between Verstappen and Britton is going to get really intense because Max Simmons is there now in the Porsche. And the BMW in the background there, Richard Derouche making the move for 7th place. Or 6th place, pardon me. And Travis Wallace is also catching up to this group because he's on the tail of Enrique Hervas. Ricky Spanish, Byron.
It's your boy.
Oh, speaking of Ricky Spanish, he just lost the car there. We gave him the hindsight caster's curse. As Travis Wallace moves into 8th place in the BMW M6.
Have we ever established who Travis Wallace works for? Or am I mixing my movies now?
You are mixing your movies at this point.
Well, shit.
I believe the question you say is, does Travis Wallace look like a bitch to you? As,
Not to me personally.
Zifo Duran takes the lead from John Barker. I like John Barker's car. I mean, it's just a plain yellow, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. It oddly fits that car.
That sounds like racism.
How is it racism?
Segregating your individual taste based on color.
That's just playing favorites. The cars don't
maybe.
stop being people because their colors I don't like. One of the cars getting lapped there. I believe that was John Picha. Porsche falling down a lap. We will see some blue flag action today as the GT4s cannot keep up with the GT3s. Pace difference is around 10 seconds a lap. By Britain looking for a move here on Verstappen. Verstappen goes defensive, but takes a little bit too much of that curb, which is a real gamble. You could say that he is one step closer to the edge as Britain goes through and Darush goes through. Verstappen dropping down to 6th place. Stop Mill in the meantime continues to shadow Fran Machuca. What do you think? Is he just letting Fran get a little bit of confidence, or is he actually struggling to get past him?
Just waiting for the right moment to just give him the giant pit maneuver and bounce him off 3 walls at the same time.
I mean, admittedly, staying behind him is probably a good idea. The ability to attack out of the slipstream here is very large, and again, we've got an hour and 16 minutes to go, so there's no rush to get to the front, really. Flags today? Nah, pretty normal fare for the flags. I guess the oddest one we got is the Chilean flag there for Mauricio Delgado. Not that that's a weird flag, but we don't have a lot of Chilean racers. Somebody lost control there, and I didn't see who.
It was me! No, it wasn't.
I hope it wasn't you. In the meantime, Travis Wallace at the front of a 4-man pack there for 7th place. It was Verstappen who lost it. Drive-through penalty for Toby Howard. Abuse of track limits.
Won't.
The Porsche will be heading down the line. I think we've lost John Picha. He is shown as not running. Either that or that's a timing glitch we're getting. Could be either. So Byron, we'll test your knowledge of car logos here.
Oh crap!
A moment. Cars in 21st and 23rd. What do you think that is? That logo there.
I can't see. They're too small.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna go with 22nd is a tractor. One of them Italian John Deeres. And I have no idea. It just looks like a big black turd in a yellow circle for number 21.
I mean, it's more of a green turd, but
at that resolution, I can't. I have no idea.
That is the Lotus car logo.
The Roses?
The Lotus. Shannon Flynn slipping back there. Wonder what happened with him. He's back to 25th position. Demetrius Simeonitis on a pretty good charge there, up to 23rd. Demetrius had a really solid outing in the academy right before this. Seems to be really turning a corner in terms of his driving skill, which is nice to see. That's the goal of the academy, is to see those jumps in performance from the drivers, and was really happy with the results from Laguna Seca before this, which the commentary for that will be done tomorrow in theory. Paul is getting yet another new microphone, and we're trying that out.
Did he get just a defective one?
No, he's gotten a different model now. He thinks that it's so basically there's the Cartoid style microphones.
Yeah.
He's thinking that just doesn't work with the acoustics in his basement.
That's possible.
And he is going with a different style of microphone, so we'll see how that goes.
Fair enough.
I'm still working on the theory that Paul just has a terrible voice. So the leaders are coming up to a battle in GT4 here between, that is Noel Robbins and Zach Hemstrom. Hemstrom is falling back, so something happened to him. He's back to 27th place, up in 26th just as I'm saying that. But he was higher, fighting with Demetrius Simeonitis, and now he's 4 spots behind him, so something definitely happened there. I have no idea what it was because it wasn't on the steward's report, so I'm assuming it was not terribly nefarious.
Steward!
As Travis Walls, This is the fight that we just need to have on our screen the whole time it's going. Travis Walls versus Christoph Verstappen, two exceedingly angry drivers.
Roar. You're just saying that because Christoph got kicked out of all the good schools?
I mean, I might be. I don't know that for a fact. I enjoy watching them race. I just think that at times their aggression is set to a level that's a little bit counterproductive at times.
That seems likely.
As the GT4s here messing around with the leaders, Mike Stoppmill and Fran Machuca trying to get through as clean as they can. That one up ahead is Mauricio Delegato in the sort of kind of weird tropical Porsche. I actually like that Porsche. The livery. I don't like that car. I don't like Porsches in general. Oh, Fran was off there, and it looks like he's retained the lead, though. Clyde Britton, and that is Max Simmons battling with each other. And the third car in the mix is the lapped car of Zach Hemstrom. Should be mentioned, the GT4s generally are a little smaller than the GT3s, so that's a way to pick up the difference, but not always 100% correct, because the BMW M4 can be of a similar size. Holy God, someone flying off in the background. Who is it? Looking for the falling car, and I'm not seeing it. Not seeing who that would have been, but someone definitely took a tumble.
Might have been John Picha, who's in last place due to constant abuse of track limits.
Wasn't John, because I know what John's color looks like. It was a darker car than John's car. John's racing the green and white and black Porsche, and that was a little more black than his was. So not him. Also, I think he's actually just out of the race, unfortunately. Richard DeRouche going for the lead. Mike Stoppmill's dropped back to third place, so something in the traffic may be giving us some action here as DeRouche is on a charge. Because I remember Richard was like down at the lower part of the top 10. Now in second place, Travis Wallace is dropping, so maybe him and Verstappen had a little bit of bump and grind.
Real question though, if Richard owned a satchel, would that make it a DeRouche bag?
Oh, that's a good one. And the answer is yes.
Excellent.
They are lapping the GT4 class leader Zifo Duran in their mix, so the entire GT4 class has fallen a lap down, which is not surprising. Again, 10 seconds slower a lap will do that to you. As I'm seeing 153s from the GT3s, and I do believe the fastest lap from the GT4s is about a 2:04, so, or 2:03 maybe. So 10 seconds easily. Christoph Verstappen making his way through there. I see Enrique Hervas trying to get through there as well. He's the Porsche. Martin Edmonds is in the mix there. Travis Wallace is in the mix there. This is about 9th through to 11th in the GT3s trying to get through. And there are your race leaders. It's a BMW 1-2 Fran Machuca from Richard DeRouche with the Mercedes of Mike Stoppmill in third place. And then it is Clyde Brenton's caught up nicely. He's up to 4th as he continues to look for a place for his head. Oh, Martin Edmonds spins off in the M6.
Spin the wheel!
He can't even blame the car. He really likes that M6 and can't even blame the M6 for his lack of fortuitousness. As no, they haven't caught up the leader, so it must not have been Zifo Duran I saw the leaders lapping earlier, because that is Alex Loeffler and Michael Magas that they're coming up to now. Fran Machuca laps Michael Magas. Mike Stoppmill laps Alex Loeffler. Those are 3rd and 4th in the GT4 category. And Wayne Hutchison in the Mercedes, and Travis Wallace moving through there on, that is Demetrius Simeonitis and Mauricio Delgado. Martin is also trying to get my attention on the Discord. I may check that out.
Tell him he's on vacation and shut his dumb drunk trap. Hi, Martin.
Hey, Martin.
That's what it is. He's just drunk dialing in.
Could be. Enrique Hervas making his way through, as well as Christoph Schrim. Christoph has had a really up and down race. He's down to 11th now. Has been in 3rd. It's just a weird race for him right now. Or, well, to be honest, it's not even that off-brand for him. Just a little bit mistake prone, a little bit over-driving prone. Travis Wallace looking to make a move on Wayne Hutchison. Wayne Hutchison is the definition of not overdriving the car, though. He is calm as a cucumber, even losing that 7th place to Travis Wallace.
And indeed, the Wayne in Spain does fall mainly on the plane.
Really need to get ourselves a Spanish track and race room to make a little bit more rain in Spain.
Indeed.
But there are none.
We need to get one in Barcelona.
Well, we do have an ACC, the Barcelona track. That's the Circuit de Catalunya. That's the track that my cousin raced at in the ACC series, actually.
Interesting.
But race room does not have any Spanish tracks, which is really disappointing because there's a lot of good tracks in Spain. You can go to Valencia, you can go to Jerez. They're excellent tracks.
If you go to Valencia, you got to bring me the oranges.
Yes. Alex Loeffler getting lapped by Clyde Britton there, and now you're going to see Clyde Britton just like come up to Mike Magas and say, "See you, bye." Very plain car choice by Alex Loeffler, I must say.
Was that because he's a bad person?
No, as far as I know, Alex Loeffler is an excellent person. By the way, the pit window is open. That's why you see the red square beside everyone when it turns green. That means that person has been in for their mandatory pit stop, where they will have to take.
Nice.
They will have to take tires and gas.
Wait, Martin's gonna have to change tires? I don't understand that at all.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Martin made a couple of pit stops for tires. Mike Stoppmill's still in 3rd place, but he appears to be catching Richard DeRouche, and they've made their way through the traffic, so it's now a little bit more of a fair, straight-up fight between the top 3. In fact, so has Ariel Zatoni. Ooh, Ariel, the track is not over there, friend. The green is hot lava.
That's not how that works. That's not the correct color at all.
I can make anything I want hot lava.
Can we agree that the green is...
or pardon me, the blue.
Salsa verde.
Oh, very nice, very nice. I'm all for that. Mike Stockmill is putting the pressure on Richard DeRouche. He is losing some ground to Fran Machuca, so I said before that maybe staying behind Fran Machuca, not a terrible idea, but you do not want to drift too far behind the race leader, just because there's a fair amount of time left. You do kind of want to keep him in eye shot if you can, so he might want to work his way past Richard here in the near future. In the meantime, it looks like we have lost one of the GT3 cars. Moly Moly is out of the race, joining the GT4s of John Picha and Toby Howard. That's a shame to see Moly Moly out of the race. Always exciting to see Moly race.
Perhaps he dug himself too deep.
Could be. Stopping continues to go for second place here. Is he going to make the move here? Mercedes power versus BMW power. Who's got the edge? I think the answer is Mike Stockmill in the Mercedes, and he does go into second place here at Paul Ricard, although Richard is not done hanging around the outside there, but I don't really think there was a move to be made. Although this section of the track is just terrible, so I would not be surprised if anything happened here.
What if it all happened right there?
If it all happened right there, that might be a little extreme.
You can't have everything. Where would you put it?
True enough. Still in the background there is Ariel Zatoni. Max Simmons is up to 5th place, so something has happened with Clyde Britton. He slipped back to 6th place in the Lincoln Park mobile. Maybe he's feeling a little bit faint and couldn't handle the traffic quite too well. There he is. Background there in the red and chrome Mercedes entry. Travis Wallace now on his tail in the very fetching BMW M6 livery for Artem.
Sparta?
Artem, not Sparta. Although one would think that Sparta would be a predominantly red livery. One would think.
It's just got swords all over it.
It's just swords and spears and shields everywhere. And chevrons. Many, many chevrons. So Richard DeRoche continues to follow Mike Stockmill, looking for a way back past the Mercedes to get the BMW 1-2 going on. It's a 1-2-3-4 for BMW in the GT4 category with Zifo Duran, John Barker, Michael Magas, and Alex Loeffler leading the way. Following them, it is championship leader Sergio Mengual in the Lotus.
See.
Richard DeRouche, I'm not really sure if he was looking for a move there or might just went defensive. That's probably the case. And Richard's going down the inside. The door is open. Stockmill does not open the door very often, so you got to go for it when it's there, and he's got it. Richard DeRoche back into 2nd place. Stockmill right back on the attack. Takes it right back.
Yoink.
Moving into 2nd place. Do we think that Mike Stockmill is toying with him?
Yes.
We got 1 vote. I just think that maybe the loss of pace on the straights due to that ballast is probably keeping Mike Stockmill from being able to fully deliver here today. This is one of the tracks where I think the ballast have some of the most impact. Martin Edmonds and Magnus Sternby. This is an old rivalry in ESR history between these two. So good to see it being revisited here today. Pretty weak day for the Porsches in general. Max Simons is doing great up in 5th place, but his supporting cast of Magnus Sturby, Enrique Hervas, Jesus Calados, and the retired Moly kind of letting down the Porsche brand right now. In fact, all 3 cars that have exited the race are Porsches. So, you and I know a thing or two about Porsches breaking down, courtesy of our familiarity with German tanks.
Yeah.
Like the Ferdinand.
Yeah, Ferdinand had some interesting ideas.
Interesting ideas that didn't really work out too well. Christoph Verstappen on the tail of Paul Ricard Ricardo Beni for the battle for 9th place. I think this is actually the highest Paul's been all race, so up to 9th.
Well, he usually doesn't hit the bong until at least lap 4, so you're probably right.
Well, we're way past lap 4. Ariel Zatoni drawing closer to Richard DeRouche, who continues to squabble with Mike Stockmill over 2nd place. I think that's becoming a little bit counterproductive for him at this point, unless he really believes Stockmill is holding him up, which seems unlikely on a number of levels. As Verstappen takes 9th place away from the Black Sheep, Paul Ricard.
Could be true. So, I just found out that there's this comedian in Britainland whose name was Joe Lisette, or Lysette, and he has changed his name legally to Hugo Boss.
I'm fine with it.
Apparently, Hugo Boss is almost as litigious as Apple, and they will send cease and desist letters to literally anybody that uses the word boss.
But are they as litigious as Vince McMahon?
Probably. So he's changed his name to Hugo Boss, and his new signature.
Whoa! Ariel Zatoni spinning out there. I hate to interrupt, but that was a moment.
That's all right. I was gathering details. So his legal signature is like he's written the word Hugo sideways or like vertically.
Interesting.
With the O being very distended and phallic.
I understand.
And yeah, apparently he's done a lot of things like this to just fuck with companies. This is actually like a real protest that he's trying to kind of bring light to.
Well, that was something I certainly wasn't aware of, that Hugo Boss was really litigious. So
I just knew that they were Nazis. That's all I know about them.
Yeah. I mean,
Apparently
I know
he was
that...
born Hal Green. There's got to be a story behind this.
How he ended up with the last name Lysette?
Yeah, he was born Hal Green. His mother's last name was Lisette or Lysette. Maybe it was Lisette. And blah 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 blah. Something. Changed his name last year from. Oh, that was this year. It doesn't say how he got from Hal to Joe. Not a clue.
I don't know. Hal's a name that I think has maybe some negative connotations to it.
Oh no, my bad. He was born in Hal. Or Hall Green. All right, that makes a whole lot more sense. I missed that one. Hugo Boss was born Hal Green. No, Hugo Boss was born in Hal Green. Got it.
Mystery solved.
Wow. Welcome to reading stuff is hard.
Welcome to reading comprehension. Byron will be your both your positive example and your negative example at the same time.
Correct. See, it's always good to make sure that you correct yourself.
Indeed. I actually really like that camera shot where we see two different sections of the track. That's it's interesting.
I need a shot where I can see 19 parts of the track at the same time.
Don't think you could do that at Paul Ricard. There are other tracks where you could do that, though. As Alex Loeffler still running in 4th place in GT4, 17th overall. Tracking down Michael Magas. We've lost another GT3 car. It's Magnus Sternby. 4 Porsches down!
Perhaps this late in the competition they have run out of the fuel?
Perhaps they were using an experimental transmission that needed to be rebuilt every couple of kilometers. Like the Ferdinand.
Don't cry for me, Ferdinand.
Actually, I actually really got to someday go back and like dig into the World War II like German proposals of tanks and figure out if like the Porsche ever was the better design. I don't think it was, ever.
I couldn't tell you.
Because they went with the Henschel Tiger over the Porsche Tiger. And they went with, I can't remember who presented the Jagdpanther design, but whoever that was, they went with that over the Ferdinand, predominantly.
Mm-hmm.
And also the VK series Porsches also didn't do very well.
As I understand it, he had a lot of ideas that eventually were incorporated into other things, or at least were the basis for other technologies.
Yeah.
But at that time, they had no resources, and they're like, we need the cheap, easy thing, like right now.
Well, it was also like the Porsche design is like the epitome of German engineering, at least in World War II. It's a lot of things that are really, really great ideas, but can easily break, which doesn't really actually make it for a good war machine, as Zachary Hemstrom overtakes Shannon Flynn through the Mistral Strait there.
Yeah, it was just, a lot of his stuff was a great basis for other things, but at that time, they did not have time to R&D that shit.
It's too complex. Well, even at the beginning of the war, like, a lot of Porsche designs were passed up, because it's like, this is great! Can you, how quickly can you make this?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Yeah, we can't use that.
Yep.
He was a madman, but yeah, he advanced a lot of at the very least like suspension and transmission. Oh, Clyde Britton off the track.
Looks like he Brexited the race.
Couldn't come up with a good Linkin Park song for that.
In the end, it didn't even matter.
Yeah, well, we're not at the end yet. So.
It's the end for him.
I mean, no, he's still going.
So the other members of Linkin Park.
It's running in 7th place. Michael Magas leading a train here with Alex Loeffler and Sergio Mengual at the back there in the Lotus. Mengual is the top GT4 non-BMW right now in 5th place. Christoph Verstappen Oh, Britain's around again! All right, well, maybe you're right. Maybe in the end, this really is all he can achieve. So Verstappen up a place without even making an overtake, really, on the tail of Wayne Hutchison. Paul Ricard in the background there in the lone Corvette. A little surprised that we only have the one Corvette. Usually a really popular car. And a really good one for this track. But Ricard not really making that particularly clear because he's down in 9th place, which is the highest I believe he's been at any point in this race.
Well, I mean, he does wait a little while to hit the vape.
Could be. Saying he needs to go for the bong to the vape. That's where the pace comes.
There you go. He just has a whole rack of them like kazoos in front of his rig.
Zifo Duran continues to lead the GT4 class. He is in 14th place overall. This is the battle for the last podium spot there between Michael Magas and Alex Loeffler as we go back to Verstappen's attempts to get past Wayne Hutchison. 7th place. Up ahead of them, that is Noel Robbins. Ooh, and that's a little awkward. And Verstappen gets a little bit of a favor there from the lapped traffic to take Hutchison for a position there. Can't really say I'd have to look at that closer to see if Robbins played that wrong, but I think that may have just been some bad timing. Bit of a Ricardo Zonta 2000 Hungary or Belgium Grand Prix, which led to one of the more climactic overtakes in F1 history that allowed Mika Häkkinen that day to beat Michael Schumacher to take his, I want to say, like 3rd victory in 4 races, which was about the highlight of Häkkinen's season at that point and made him a title contender, although Schumacher did eventually take home that first Ferrari trophy, the first Ferrari Drivers' Championship in 21 years.
Well, I was kind of hoping you'd spin that the other way. It was like, oh, in retrospect, Schumacher wasn't that good, and nobody liked him, and he was a scrub. I
mean, Schumacher is a driver whose talent is borderline impossible to deny. Won a title with a Ford engine in the back of one of his cars. I mean, come on. 1994, Benetton Ford. And I know everyone's going to say, but they cheated. But here's the thing. He had Jos
Verstappen. If you're not
Verstappen,
cheating, you're not trying.
He had Jos Verstappen, JJ Leto, and Johnny Herbert as his teammates, all of whom are respected as legitimate F1 drivers who could do absolutely nothing with that supposedly cheating car. So I will defend it to the death. That is one of the examples of a championship being won with a car that did not deserve to win a title.
Correct.
Alex Loeffler still held up behind Michael Magas. We're getting close to when you might want to think about a pit stop. 50 minutes to go in the race. And actually, I'm psychic! Loeffler takes it in and goes for the pits.
50 minutes to go in the race and only 1.5 seconds to go in the pit window. So everybody fails.
I'm actually very impressed with myself because I didn't remember when Loeffler pitted. I knew he pitted earlier than me. Obviously, we're fighting. But I didn't remember that he was about to pit. So a little bit of psychic inclination going on there.
Dun dun dun.
There is the ESR Academy driver, Zach Hemstrom, still the championship leader after Laguna Seca, although not the greatest round for him. Lost a fair bit of ground to Rochelle Guerin. So get ready for that commentary, everybody. Assuming that you are not watching it before you're watching this one.
Watched it. I lived it.
You did not.
I did not.
Brandon Machuca off the track there. Got a little bit ugly there.
He's probably playing video games and or watching XFL.
How was the XFL this week?
Good.
I watched the highlights, but how was the game?
Good. I think I watched most of all of the games, and I'm enjoying it. They do things that the NFL sucks at, and pretty much that's where my entertainment value lies.
Indeed, I've been pretty impressed with the XFL. I mean, I'm always a little bit worried because, of course, you got the XFL. How's that going to affect the CFL in the long term? Which is always a little bit of a concern. But it is interesting to see their games. They're trying out some interesting rule things, which some of which I hope will be adopted. Some of them not so much. I'm not really keen on the whole double forward pass thing.
I think it's
a little
fine.
bit weird.
I think as long as you're behind the line of scrimmage, you should be able to just pass it forward. Who cares?
Indeed. We'll see. I mean, obviously, it's a thing that I'm not willing to like rule out any rule until we get to the end of the season, and I've got like a solid sample size to figure out. Mike Stockmill diving into the pit lane there, so he is taking his mandatory stop, following in the path of Alex Loeffler, a little bit before the halfway mark, but they were in traffic, so a good time to get that pit stop done. Some more GT3s making their way through Mauricio Delgado in the is that Mauricio? I think it's Mauricio in the Porsche GT4. Looks like Wayne Hutchison going into the pit lane. Wayne Hutchison going into the pit lane is the third man into the pits. What world do we live in? Have you been like conjuring some demonic Cthulhuian based spells here, Byron?
Yes.
That have crosses over into another dimension.
No more than usual.
Okay. Well, they work better this time. I'll put it that way. So Enrique Hervas, Ricky Spanish, up to 9th place, although that is a temporary position as he has overtaken both Mike Stockmill and Wayne Hutchison during their pit stops. Also looks like maybe Ariel Zatoni hit the pits as well, because he's dropped back to 11th place, making me think he's gone into the pits. But we'll see if they're... Yep, there we are. I'm correct. Turn green. So 3 men have been in from the GT3 category. Just 1 GT4 in the form of Alex Loeffler. Oh, no, 2. Demetrius Simeonitis has made his pit stop.
Is it a Greek disease? Simeonitis?
Simeonitis. It's Simeon Naku, but in disease form.
Dang, weaponized Simeon Naku.
Sergio Mangual falling a lap down there to Travis Wallace. His next target will be Michael Magas. Getting through their BMW on BMW stop. There we go. Through he goes. Hoping to see a lot more of Sergio Mangual. He looked really strong in Indianapolis. Was really strong on the leaderboards leading up to this race, but hasn't really been able to deliver a great deal in the race itself. Max Simmons weaving his way through there in the Porsche. Simmons is quickly becoming one of the only Porsches left. We're down to 2 GT3 Porsches. No, 3. I forgot Ricky Spanish. And James Butler, Zach Hemstrom, and Mauricio Delgado and Dixon Hurst in the GT4 category. We have finally lost a non-Porsche car as Shannon Flynn's Lotus is out of the race. Unfortunately, that is the end of the light cycle festivities.
These have been true facts of the baby echidna.
Pit stop here from Enrique Hervas in for his mandatory stop. Somebody else is in there ahead of him. Looks like one of the GT4 cars. We'll just see whose turns green next, and that will tell us who it was. Could be Mauricio Delgado as he is dropping spots. There is Noel Robbins. That's one of the BMWs in. That is Delgado. So one of the GT3 BMWs in. I think that's Christopher Streppen in the pit lane. And oh god! I have no idea what happened there. Teleportation technology at its finest for Ariel Zatoni. Wow, this is going to a really weird place here. So, did he hit the wall or did he not hit the wall?
Schrodinger's wall.
Race leader is in. Fran Machuca and Richard Derouche first and second in the GT3 category in the pits. Richard will have the chance to try to jump him in the pit lane if he's taking less fuel. That is not Richard Derouche. That is Sergio Mangual on the tail of Michael Magas.
Put him in the wall!
They continue on. Or I think Magas actually went in the pit lane.
Well, I mean, you should probably be able to tell us.
Well, I don't.
Since that's you.
I don't remember exactly what lap I put it in.
What do you mean? You're so pedantic, you even correct yourself in your sleep.
Do I? I don't even know.
Probably not.
I'm so pedantic that I don't even know. But yes, Michael Magas is in the pit lane. So that is solved. Zifo Duran still is not pitted. He's the GT4 leader. Sergio Mengual, James Butler, Zach Hemstrom, John Barker must be in the pits. That would explain why he's falling back. Richard Derouche rejoins ahead of Fran Machuca, so he did jump him in the pit lane. So that might effectively be your race leader right there, Richard Derouche.
What about your boy T-Wall?
Well, Travis Wallace is yet to pit, and I don't think he has enough of a lead to come out ahead. Well, no, your effective leader is probably Mike Stockmill. He's ahead of Derouche and has pitted, so that is probably your effective leader.
How effective is he?
Well, he's very effective. He's Mike Stockmill, let's be honest here.
It's super effective.
Michael Magas has come out in a bit of a bad spot here. He's behind the non-pitted BMW of Noel Robbins. So depending on how Noel handles this situation, could be interesting. Interesting note, Alex Loeffler is the leading GT4 car that has pitted. He was in 4th place before pitting, and it looks like he has jumped both Michael Magas and John Barker with that early pit stop. So excellent work there. Could put him in a position to be a factor for the win, although I still think he'll be behind Zifo Duran once he makes his pit stop. We will see. It's hard to do. There's a lot of gap prediction here without really knowing how long the pit stops will take.
17 years.
I'd hope not. If your pit crew takes 17 years to do a pit stop, fire them.
Well, I mean, they got to go to the factory and they got to make the tires and they got to test them, make sure they're good, and they got to bring them all back.
There is James Butler, yet to pit. You really don't like that Porsche that James Butler is driving, correct? I'm trying to remember. I remember you have a strong reaction to that car. Magas crawls all over Noel Robbins' booty, despite the probably difference of tires that they have right now, although Robbins may be later on fuel, which could cancel that out. Should be mentioned that the tire wear here at Paul Ricard was not terribly high, so as long as you're not Martin Edmonds, probably not a major factor. John Barker still running in, I'm not sure what that is. He's second place of the GT4s that have pitted. I don't know about the rest of the Michael Magas here battling with Noel Robbins. Going down the inside of this really fast part of the track. Making an overtake here is thrilling. Magas takes 19th place. He is third amongst the GT4s that have pitted, so he could be as high as third in the race. We'll find out once the pit stops all shake out here. Still a fair number to go. Max Simmons is now in the lead of this race. That's weird. Javi Perez Torres.
It's not that weird. He just cut all the corners.
It's true. If you were to cut this first section here, which we're driving through... who's this? Enrique Hervas in the pit lane for his service. Travis Wallace also in the pits. So still not to pit. We got Max Simmons, Paul Ricard, and Clive Britton in the GT3s. Notably, and I do know why this is, Wayne Hutchison's pit stop did not count as a mandatory pit stop because he did not take tires. I did remind him of that over the comms, so he will try and save himself later. So, slight spoiler, Wayne's in for a second pit stop.
Dang, Wayne.
And just to kind of reiterate to everybody, the mandatory pit stop in race room only has one setting. It's either on or off, and the on requires you to take both fuel and tires. The only exception would be if there is like no fuel usage on. I don't even know if tire wear would cancel out the need to change tires. I do not actually know. But interesting note. Anyways, Wayne Hutchison still needs to pit along with Max Simmons, Paul Ricard, Clive Britton, Zifo Duran, James Butler. Looks like Sergio Mengual in the pit lane now. Noel Robbins also is yet to pit.
They should probably do that.
Indeed. They got time though. I noticed that we don't have a countdown clock on the window here, which is a little bit disappointing. But I want to say they have 8 minutes to go, which is about 3 laps that you can do in that time. That's problem Demetrius Simeonitis having a really solid outing here. 19th place overall. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th in the GT4s. And that is not counting the fact that 3 of the GT4s ahead of him still have a pit stop to make. And I would say he would definitely overtake Noel Robbins, as he's only about 7 seconds behind him. For the time being, though, outside of James Butler holding second place in GT4, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 BMWs in the top 7.
Dang.
Absolute. The only BMW that seems to be struggling today, Javi P, down in 23rd place.
It's probably because of all the drugs.
BMW also doing quite solid in the GT3 category. They're not looking terribly high right now, but that's because the top 3 have yet to pit. So you've got Richard Derouche in effective as second place, Fran Machuca third, Zatoni fourth, Wallace fifth, and sixth place would be Edmonds, 17th or 7th place would be Verstappen, once these pit stops kind of sort themselves out. So that'll be a really solid run for them outside of the Mercedes of Mike Stoppmill. And we all know it doesn't matter what Stoppmill races, it's going to be near the top. Zifo Duran has made his pit stop and rejoined as the top GT4 in the... Or, no, not for long. Alex Loeffler overtaking him. So Alex Loeffler is now effectively the GT4 leader. James Butler is the actual leader. But Butler still has to make a pit stop. So, excellent pit stop strategy by Alex Loeffler. He was 4th place when he came in, and has come out effectively in the lead of the GT4 race. That's maybe the strategic call of the day, if he can get a good result out of this.
Maybe. I noticed that certain people near the top of the list have not pitted.
Correct.
That means that they are instantly disqualified.
Oh, Rick and Benny, I think, is in the pit lane.
Maybe. Or maybe Stoppmill just caught him.
Well, either that or he's off the track, because he's dropping like a stone from Stoppmill.
These are true statements of the baby kid.
The easiest Occam's razor of this is that Rick and Benny's in the pit lane.
Yes.
So that leaves us with Simmons and Britton out front, yet to pit. As well as Wayne Hutchison, James Butler, and Noel Robbins. Zifo Duran putting the pressure on Alex Loeffler. Now, of course, I'm going to talk real quick here. The advantage of making an early pit stop could be that you're avoiding traffic. You get yourself into some fresh air, put some brake laps in. The downside is, of course, that you might be running low on tires towards the end, and we could see a drop-off. I don't expect we'll see that here today, because this is, frankly, this is a relatively low degradation track. You're not really going to see tremendous tire drop-off, so I would say probably the early pit stop didn't really have a lot of cons. It just depends on when you think the timing was right for how your race was going, as far as the pits are concerned. Zifo Duran still running in 15th place, and obviously how much fuel you had at the start and how much you were going to take on at the pit stop.
All the fuel. Just tow a whole trailer of fuel behind you.
Shouldn't be too much, actually, because I think roughly 150 liters will do you, which is a tank plus 35 liters in the GT4s anyways. I don't know what the GT3 fuel were like. But I can't imagine it was tremendously higher. So this
17 decaliters.
This gives you a tremendous amount of flexibility as to when you can come to the pits. Battle for the GT4 lead effectively here between Zifo Duran and Alex Loeffler continues, although James Butler is ahead of them. I'm gonna keep an eye on that gap to see if they start closing on Butler. Because as long as Butler can, more or less not lose any ground, I mean, there's no reason for him to pit outside of the window expiring. Which he's actually at the point now, so I guess it really doesn't matter. I think he has to pit within the next 2 laps. Otherwise, he's going to be facing penalties for violation there. As Zifo Duran just absolutely left Loeffler for dead. So, Alex Loeffler may be having some problems, or maybe just doesn't have the pace to keep with Zifo. Zifo's been the man to beat all day long in GT4. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up taking this home.
That is a lofty aspiration.
And he is, in fact, actually eating up the lead of James Butler there for a bit. That gap is closing, so Butler may want to consider getting some fresh rubber on the car and getting his fueling out of the way as Javi Perez-Torres gets the lap treatment from, that is, Fran Machuca and Ariel Zatoni. By the way, Stopmill and Derouche have both overtaken Clyde Britton, so that could mean he's in the pit lane, or it could be me made him another mistake. It looks like he made a mistake, because he is closing the gap back, so he's not in the pit lane then. So that's really not a good timing for Clyde Britton. Maybe the tire's getting a little bit iffy on that. In fact, that's him up there in the Mercedes, so...
He'll have to struggle to climb his way back to the top.
We don't really know what happened to Ariel Zatoni, whose car is all kinds of crunched up, because the connection went all haywire when he supposedly hit the wall. So I don't even know if he is damaged. And what we're getting is kind of like a render from the recording, where it rendered the damage, and then because he had lost a lot more of the car than that. So I have no idea what status that BMW M6 is in.
Top condition.
Could be. It could be. Certainly does not look it. It's definitely got the damaged model going on right now, but I don't know if it's actually damaged.
Well, to be honest, all models are damaged in some way.
True. Usually daddy issues.
No, I'm pretty sure they all have fathers.
I mean, in order to have daddy issues, you actually do have to have had a father.
Correct. Ipso facto, quid pro quo.
Clyde Britton has lost another spot there to Fran Machuca. He needs to get in the pits pronto and figure out what's going on with his car, because he is dropping. So this late run from Clyde Britton, I think, may be slightly ill-advised. And also the window should be closing pretty soon. I think the window closes at 30 minutes remaining, so needs to get in the pits this time or risk disqualification.
Correct. Are you ready for today's headline?
Hit me.
Police found Gator protecting crack cocaine, heroin, fentanyl, and more than $5,000 in cash, and much more. Drug dealers used an alligator named El Chompo to guard drugs and money.
Solid.
Indeed. I like the El Chompo. If knowing anything about El Chompo, he'll probably get out of prison pretty quick.
You know who's really got to be being driven nuts right now, though, is Ariel Zatoni. He's still behind Clyde Britton. Britton needs to pit. But this whole time, Fran Machuca is just easing out a lead on him. It's got to be frustrating as all heck.
I would probably recommend putting him in the wall.
And Britton's still not pitting. So maybe the window is still open. I don't know. Can't remember when the window closed, but I thought it was at 30 minutes remaining in the race.
Oh, the window in the wall.
In the wall, baby.
Leaks down my tires.
Oh, leak. Ariel Zatoni going forward here against Clyde Britton, but this is not a great place to make that overtake because the switchback favors Britton, and he retains the position. I believe that is the lapped car of Jesus Caladas behind him, so he is not a positional threat. But I'll tell you who is in 7th place there. It's that red BMW coming up. That is Travis, the Anger God Wallace. Got a ways to go yet. Got a ways to go yet. We're at the beginning of the movie. We're not at the Jaws theme yet. It's Clyde Britton trying to fight back against Fran Machuca, but again, having not made that pit stop, I wonder how wise this is. Max Simmons has also not made the pit stop, so I assume the window is still open. James Butler also needs to make a pit stop. As does Wayne Hutchison.
Enacts mandatory pit window, makes pit window the entire length of the race.
Can't remember. Maybe it's 15 minutes left that the pit window will close. I don't remember the logic, but I think, like, either way, ignoring the pit window here for a second, I think Clyde Britton really needs to make that pit stop because he is putting himself in a dangerous spot here. He's between Ariel Zatoni and the guy that Ariel's actually fighting with, and that could definitely lead to just some bad moments for Clyde Britton. But no pit stop this time around from the Mercedes driver. We finally found something I like the Assetto Corsa Competizione replay recorder for, because it has the pit window countdown for you to know.
Well, very nice.
This one does not, which is a little disappointing. I do believe that the boxes beside the names that indicate the pit stops will disappear when the window closes. I think that will be our only visual cue.
Will there be giant skulls next to their names now rather than little red and green things?
I mean, that should totally apply if the guy hasn't made his mandatory pit stop. That's a great idea.
Dun dun.
It's still 4 men yet to make their pit stop, and one of them is this 5th place running Clyde Britton, who I can't help but think that this has not really been an optimal strategy call by him. That's why Ariel Zatoni getting real aggressive, and that could have ended very badly for Clyde Britton when he just has the opportunity to step out of this fight and figure out where he actually is in the whole running order here, because it's also slowing him down to the people that he is actually battling with.
Just take a step back and go, who am us anyway?
Who am I? Where is my place in the universe? See, like, Max Simons looks like he's in the pit stop, as Mike Stockmill is taking the lead. Not that I think Mike Stockmill taking the lead is a sign of that. It's just that he was up 23 seconds and is dropping like a stone. So I think Simmons is in the pits. No pit stop again from Clyde Britton. He's staying out there. No sign of Hutchison going in either, as well as James Butler. Although Butler is not at the start finish yet. In fact, he passed it a while ago, actually, so Butler is going for another lap. Zatoni versus Britton does continue. See, like, it makes sense for James Butler to stay out right now. He's leading the GT4 category. I think he's losing ground, so he may want to get new tires, but, it's a situational thing. Whereas I just think Clyde Britton is making a mistake here and getting himself caught up in a lot of potential danger here with Ariel Zatoni, Travis Wallace catching up as well, which is just going to complicate matters for him more, as the BMWs may just shove him out of the way because they want to catch up to Fran Machuca.
Case in point.
Well, he's doing it cleanly here. Like, if you can get it done on the Mistral straight, that's not a problem. And it looks like it is done, so that is reasonably clean. But we've had a couple of close calls for Britton already, and I hope we see him come into the pits relatively shortly.
Well, you would hope that. You sick, probably accurate son of a bitch.
Max Simmons having a battle with Wayne Hutchison as we join that now. Simmons is... We still got 3 Porsches left, I think. I think we lost Hervos at some point, did we? Hervos is out of the race! 5 Porsches in the retirement bin.
My goodness.
1 Lotus. So now Travis Wallace up on... There we go! Clyde Britton feels Travis Wallace behind him, is like, alright, I'm in the pit lane. Getting out of here. So we'll see where he comes out, because I'm very interested to see where Britton is. The other thing is, I think he just lost a ton of time by staying out as long as he did, because he was pretty near the front before this whole pit stops thing started, and I think he's going to come out pretty well near the back of the GT3s, actually. He's going to come out behind. So Hutchison through, Simmons is through. I don't see him coming out. I think Edmonds is going to go through.
If he's not going to come out, you got to stick it in.
Max Simmons with a nice little move there on Wayne Hutchison. And we'll see if Paul Ricard is through, so... Man, Christoph Verstappen's race has not gone according to plan. 10th place for the Belgian driver. And we know he has top-end speed. We know that he can produce a race-winning effort, but there are only 12 GT3s left, and he's only ahead of Clive Britton and Jesus Coladas.
What if he just drove faster?
I mean, honestly, I don't think driving faster is his problem. His problem, in my opinion, is that he struggles with just making mistakes. He's overdriving the car. And because it's not raw lap speed that he lacks.
What if it's refined lap speed that he lacks?
Oh, that's a good one. Demetrius Simeonitis up on the tail of Michael Magas here. This is the battle for 5th place.
93rd.
The GT4 category, although James Butler still has to pit. Butler is losing a lot of ground, so actually I suspect he is in the pits right now. Making that mandatory service. It'll be interesting to see where he comes out to back into play here. It's, more lap traffic gets dealt with. That's Alex Loeffler and John Barker. And in fact, Butler is in the pit, so there it is. The pit window is closed. Wayne Hutchison did not do the mandatory pit stop. I do believe he is going to try. He was just too late. Butler just got in, so coming in dead on the wire for James Butler. I'm interested in where he comes out. Right now, it's ahead of Michael Magas and Demetrius Simeonitis, but I think they're going to pass him while he's in the pits, and indeed they do. So we'll see if he comes out behind them or not. That's Paul Ricard in the background. That's a non-factor. It's a GT3 car. Ariel Zatoni has lost a spot to Travis Walsh, so Travis Walsh, Anger God, back up into 4th. What do you think, Byron? 4th place. Is that going to make Travis Wallace less angry or more angry?
It will make him so furious that he wasn't in double 1st place that he will shatter the entire cosmos.
Indeed. In fact, I would argue this might be the most anger-inducing position for Travis Wallace because he's just off the podium.
Well, I mean, good news. All you have to do is put Fran Machuca in the wall, and then you win.
Well, you get a podium. You don't win.
Well, I mean, it's moral victory. Or is it an immoral victory?
It's an immoral victory, I think, at that point.
I keep getting those confused.
Immoral is bad. Moral is good. So all the pit stops are served. Wayne Hutchison has the potential DQs swimming over his head, but I do believe the admins have rejected that idea, as he did to make 2 pit stops. So, with the pit stops all sorted out, GT3 standings: Mike Stoppmill from Richard DeRouche, Fran Machuca, Travis Wallace, Ariel Zatoni, Max Simmons, Martin Edmonds, Paul Ricard, Christoph Verstappen, Clive Britton, Wayne Hutchison, and Jesus Coladas. And then in the GT4 category, which just saw John Barker take 2nd place there from Alex Loeffler. Can he hold it? Barker in the yellow. There's no wall really to work with there, unfortunately.
You just have to push harder, that's all.
So GT4 standings: Zifo Duran leading the way from John Barker, Alex Loeffler, Michael Magas, Demetrius Simeonitis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 BMW. Then it is Sergio Mengual, the top non-BMW, the championship leader from James Butler. That is the battle you were just seeing right there. Zach Hemstrom in 20th place ahead of Javier Perez-Torres, Mauricio Delgado, Noel Robinson, Dixon Hurst. Everybody else is out of the race. And it's been a terrible day for Porsche, who have lost 5 cars.
They should definitely call the police.
They might. They'd have to arrest their own designers, though.
I mean, a lot of those guys did end up in jail, right?
Well, yeah, that's the whole war crimes thing and all that fun. So, yeah, absolutely. Not as bad as the current scandal at Nissan/Renault, but it's up there. So Clive Britton moving to overtake Sergio Mengual and James Butler, the two GT4 cars that are struggling over the king of the non-BMW position here for 6th place. Mengual, of course, the GT4 championship leader, the winner at Indianapolis. And, that is not good. Off the track goes Mengual, and through goes James Butler. So, a little bit of good news for Porsche there.
Looks like he mangled that one.
He did. Recently developed a fondness for the... I'm going to hold up on that story because Demetrius Simeonitis getting a little physical with Michael Magas.
Giggity.
Battle there for 4th place in the GT4 category. I was going to say, I've developed a fondness for the Che Guevara versus Guy Fawkes epic rap battle of history.
Indeed.
One of the better flows they've done in series history.
Even better than Genghis Khan versus the Easter Bunny?
That was really good.
So, I don't know who the hell decided that was a good idea, but didn't not totally work.
I don't know. Most of their matchups work reasonably well. I can't think of one that was just straight up garbage.
What about the one that was with the thing and stuff? Actually, didn't they do Trump versus Hillary or something? That was fucking not good.
Yeah, but that was an execution problem. Like, on a theoretical level, it was a great idea.
Yeah.
I mean, they've had some dud battles, but the core logic of the battle is perfectly fine. Demetrius Simeonitis still on the tail of Michael Magas here. Battle for 4th place, the position that angers Travis Wallace more than any other. Just off that GT4 podium.
93rd position.
Can't do that in this game.
Depends on how many times you get lapped.
No, the server just won't take 93, like cars.
Well, looks like somebody's going to have to get in there and do some coding.
There are games where you can get to 93 cars. But Race Room is not one of them. The max here is 36. Sergio Mengual on the tail of James Butler. He gave that position away. Is stalking the Porsche. It's not been a good day for Porsche, so they're really hoping for James Butler to pull this out here. Max Simon's also having a pretty solid day, but the Porsche as a whole, it's not been great. It's not been great. Jesus Caladas, he also still running in 12th place, and a couple other Porsches there here and there. Zach Hemstrom, Mauricio Delgado, Dixon Hurst still running, but not having particularly good days. I actually ran into a Derksen the other day on the ACC servers. I'm assuming no relation to you, of course.
Probably not. I think most of my relations still live on the Hutterite colony in Manitoba.
Ah. Manitoba. Oh, you gotta get to the Mennonite episodes of Letterkenny. Those are great. They got Jonathan Torrance playing the Mennonite father.
Oh fuck!
It's good. It's great. His name is Noah Dick, with his wife Anita Dick. Demetrius Simeonitis looking down the inside. Nothing there. There's also a whole romantic plot with one of the Dicks and Squirrely Dan.
Very nice.
Demetrius Simeonitis still putting the pressure on. Sergio Mengual still putting the pressure on as well. So plenty of action here to go for the last 13 minutes, even though Mike Stoppmill is kind of, after having a really interesting time as to who was going to prevail before the pit stops, Mike Stoppmill has kind of stamped his authority on the race right now. 10.5 seconds ahead of Richard Derouche and that horde of BMWs.
Well, it means he should catch up pretty quickly. It's only 10 seconds. To get 13 minutes. He's just
It's
being lazy.
definitely doable, but this is Mike Stoppmill we're talking about here.
Easy peas. No problem. He's got 15 llamas in the trunk.
Not that many. Oh, Simeonitis going for the move, but Magas with the counterattack retains the position.
I think that Magas kid might have cheated. Reported.
And Simeonitis still looking for... Oh, no! He's lost the back end! Spinning it around. That ends that fight, unfortunately. I was really looking forward to that fight. Simeonitis needs to start up a team with our favorite Greek racer, Frederico Zwanger.
Oh.
He will teach you the ways of the dark side. Now the question is, would that make Frederico Zwanger our equivalent to Emperor Palpatine or Darth Plagueis?
I have no idea. Probably, maybe. Are they part of the Borg?
No, the Sith.
That's the same thing, though, right?
No, not really. No.
The Klingons?
Travis Wallace is caught up to the back end of Fran Machuca. Battle for the podium. So let's see if Travis can get to a position where he is slightly less angry than he was before.
No.
He'll still be angry. That's just not avoidable. So 24 cars still circulating. 12 GT3, 12 GT4. So the numbers have actually remained perfect, even through the DNFs, surprisingly enough. 3 and 3 have been lost.
Remember, kids, if you can't finish the race, make sure you take out at least 3 people with you.
I mean, it's a way to be remembered, that's for sure. See if Travis can get the job done here. No, I think I got to assume Fran Machuca's wiggling there is not intentional, but rather some kind of lag-induced movement.
Travis Wool's coming around the corner in the Outback Steakhouse car.
That would be a really good livery, actually, to do like an Outback Steakhouse livery.
Make everybody too hungry to finish the race.
Or like a Popeyes livery, Red Lobster livery. Just going through restaurants there. I can only really think of 2 restaurants that have actually done really racing sponsorship, and that is, of course, KFC, which has appeared in Formula 2 lately. And for a while in IndyCar, there was the Sonny's Barbecue Shack on one of the cars, which was...
Interesting.
Might still be there, actually. But that's the only reason I even know what Sonny's Barbecue is. It popped up in cart as a sponsor. Travis is doing the headlight flick, trying to get some attention there. Has not worked so far. Mengual is still behind Butler, and Simeonitis is behind them, catching up now as well. So that could be a 3-way fight for 5th place. In the meantime, Michael Magas is catching Alex Loeffler, however, is still 15 seconds behind. So I do not foresee that being much of a showdown here in the last 9 minutes of the race.
That sounds pretty negative, sir. I'd appreciate a little bit more positivity in your commentary.
I'm just saying, it's hard to make up that time in 3 laps.
Well, not if you just power slide all the corners. You just go faster.
Yeah, but your tires also get ruined.
We don't need them for very much longer. It's fine.
mean, strictly speaking, you're not wrong. Simeonitis gets lapped there by the battling big brothers. M6s versus M4. And of course the M8, the newer GT optional, though currently only in GTE competition. So who you got here, Byron? Fran Machuca or Travis Wallace?
I'm going to go with Travis making an anger-fueled error and both of them DNF.
Oh, you're going with mutual destruction. Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, Wallace has gotten through there, but that does not mean that this is over. Machuca coming back at him around the outside, but that's going to tighten up and favor Wallace, and indeed it does. Wallace retaining third for the time being. Machuca's on the inside into this turn, though, and might have it back. Don't cut to Sergio Mengual now. Yeah, but it looks like Machuca got it back and is back into third place. No, Magas is caught up 3 seconds on Loeffler, so might not be as ridiculous as I originally purported that might become a showdown. Travis Wallace lapping Michael Magas, still on the trail of Machuca. James Butler holding off Sergio Mengual and Demetrius Simeonitis. So great battle here for fourth place in GT, or third place in GT3. Also pretty good battle going on for fifth place in GT4.
All I can see is GT Snow Racer.
That would be interesting.
Indeed.
I did love my GT Snow Racer. I had the unique one. My siblings all had black ones, and I had a blue and white one. Don't really know what the story there was.
Yeah, there was that one, and then there was the pink one for girls. And that's the only ones I remember seeing.
There was a really awesome yellow and black one that I saw one time.
Yeah.
Looked real good. My cousin had like 3 of them, and I don't know why, because he was an only child. I know there were like some slight feature differences, like my sisters had like a weird braking thing that dropped down from the back instead of like the pedals, which was good. Seems a bit weird. You got 3 of them there, Kevin.
That's the off-brand. That's the we can't copy the other stuff's copyrighted. We have to come up with our own braking system.
I don't know. I thought it was just a GT Snow Racer, but you could be right. And of course, everyone that doesn't have snow is like, "What the hell is a GT Snow Racer?"
Exactly. Y'all need to go on the internet to look up GT Snow Racer and know why all I can think of is GT Snow Racers when you're talking about GT 3, 4, 5, and 17.
There is no GT 17.
Not yet.
I don't foresee that there ever will be. Flashing the headlights again, Travis. Not gonna get through. Not gonna get through. I'm rooting for Fran now. The way to get me to root against you on commentary is do the freaking headlight flash.
I think all the headlight flashing is draining his fuel faster. He's not even gonna finish the race.
Oh. I don't think fuel considerations are really huge in this race. Again, not a lot was needed to take it in the pit stops, so I think everyone is probably good. Although Loeffler is still losing more ground. Magas has closed the gap to 8 seconds to the third place BMW. So we might get a battle for the bottom step of the podium in both classes. By the way, Demetrius Simeonitis overtook Sergio Mengual, who must have had a moment because he is no longer involved in that Butler-led fight. So that's an interesting note. Zach Hemstrom and Javier Perez-Torres having a little bit of a fight. Travis Wallace down the inside there. Don't cut away! Come on! We cut over to Christoph Verstappen, who's having a pretty disappointing run to 9th place here. Up on the back end of Paul Ricard, flashing headlights. Paul weaving to try to break the stream, or the slipstream. Anyways, Wallace did get the job done and is ahead of Fran Bachuka. Go, Franny! The Fran Club is in full force. Christopher Streppet on the tail of Paul Ricard. Battle for 8th place. Between these two, Clive Britton back in 10th. Ahead of them is Martin Edmonds in 7th. Verstappen, the only BMW not running in. Well, Edmonds is not in the top 5 either, so a little bit extreme to say not the only one. But definitely a great day for BMW. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th in the GT3 category, and of course 1, 2, 3, 4 in the GT4 category with 6th place Dimitrios Simeonitis as well.
A likely story.
And of course, every Porsche still running is just like, just let me finish.
No.
Lapped traffic here on the Mistral Straight shouldn't be a problem at all. That's Dixon Hurst in the Porsche. Ooh, got a little close there. Dixon kind of came over a little bit there on Fran. A little rude. Too bad, though. Mike Stoppmill's lead is dropping. It's down to 8.5 seconds to Richard Derouche, so he's making a late push, but I don't think he has enough time with, we're talking probably 1 lap remaining for the 2 leaders, or for the 1st and 2nd place cars.
Well, I don't know. If you go fast enough, there's time for at least 5 or 6 more laps.
No, there is not.
Just gotta push the pedal harder.
There is no world in which that is the case. Christopher Streppin looking to make a move here on Paul Ricard, and we cut away from it. Because, of course, we did. Looks like it was successful. He's shown he's ahead of Ricard now. Travis Wallace, again with the headlight flash. I can only hope that he's trying to do something else with that. That's just
I think the headlights are being activated via swear words.
Maybe. No, because then they never turn off.
Correct.
It wouldn't be flashing headlights, it'd just be on the whole time like the high beams. I'm waiting for Travis to break some new racing hardware so we can make fun of him for it. Not really sure what has happened with Sergio Mengual this race. He was really fast on the leaderboard, but didn't really translate that speed into anything today. I mean, nothing to sneeze at, finishing in 7th place and all, but not a great run for the Lotus driver and the fellow Lotus, of course, Shannon Flynn, out of this race 43 laps ago.
Well, what I would recommend is doing everything better than you did before.
That'd be 43 GT3 laps, not 43 GT4 laps.
Also, I'd recommend jumping the fence over there and stealing one of them planes. You definitely finish the race a lot faster if you just had a plane.
It's true. Paul Ricard all over the back end of Verstappen, trying to come back at it. Verstappen trying to break the draft. On the Mistral Street, by the way, Mike Stoppmill is your race winner.
Cha-cha.
Richard Derouche, I believe, has come across. Oh, maybe not. Might still be going. Paul Ricard looking for a move there on Verstappen. Verstappen goes hard on James Butler, and that cost him. Travis Wallace lost it at the end. No, he didn't. He got it. He got third. But
it looks like third to me, Bill.
Well, I was just looking at him like not really moving. He must have done some kind of celebration across the line that broke his momentum entirely. Paul Ricard gets getting 8th place there at the late stages due to Christopher Streppet, I think, honestly going for a bit of a dive bomb on a blue flag car. And I think that worked out pretty poorly for him. So, Michael Magas across the line there. Verstappen across the line. James Butler. Dimitri Simeonidis across the line. Behind them is the lap car of Noel Robbins. And then Sergio Mengual in the surviving Lotus. Porsche of Jesus Calados in the mix there. So we'll get your final results here shortly.
Jesus, the Super Collider, Calados.
Super Collider! We got the colitis and the Simeonitis. Oh. So we're just waiting for the results page here to fall up as we are getting people crossing the line to finish their races. There we go. Mike Stockmill, your winner from Richard DeRoche, Travis Wallace, Fran Machuca, Ariel Zatoni, 4 BMWs in the top 5. You see the 90-second penalty there for Wayne Hutchison for violation of the pit lane rules, although still 11th place, so not a big deal. Zifo Duran, John Barker, Alex Loeffler, Michael Magas, and James Butler, your top 5 in GT4. Those are all BMWs except for the Porsche of Butler. Really solid outing there from Dimitri Simeonidis in 6th place, so big congratulations to him. And a bit of a disappointing one for the championship contenders, Sergio Mengual and Zach Hemstrom, who finished 7th and 8th place.
Correct.
Byron, what was your thoughts on the action here today?
I was a little disappointed everybody didn't go in the wall, but other than that, good job.
Byron cannot have enough of in-the-wall action. Next month, hang on, I should have looked up where this race was going, because unfortunately the standings are not up to date due to problems with Jesus Calados' race app. It is preventing us from applying the scoring to the log file right now, but I can't... it is actually up, so actually I'll give you a quick rundown of the standings. So currently in the GT3 category, championship leader Mike Stockmill, of course, Richard Rouchet in second, followed by Martin Edmonds, Ariel Zatoni, Fran Machuca, your top 5. And in the GT4 side of the things, it is Zifo Duran leading Sergio Mengual, Alex Loeffler, James Butler, and Zach Hemstrom. Yours truly is in 8th place. So the next event will be at Red Bull Ring on March 28th. Get ready for that. Get hyped. It's going to be a fun race, actually, really. I don't think anyone really can complain about the Red Bull Ring track. It's a fantastic facility. So, Byron, do you have anything final to say to the people?
You should all go out and eat a cheeseburger.
That's solid advice from the man they call Byron. We'll see you next time. What is our next commentary going to be? Probably modern DTMs, actually. So, yeah, it's a while in the future, actually.
I refuse. I will only commentary on chariot races.
We'll have to arrange something then.
Somebody get the mod out.